It's your girl Shay, and I'm back with another episode of Shay's Relationship Files. I hope everyone's morning is going well. Hope everyone's staying safe out there and having a good morning. And today, my topic on the Shay's Relationship Files is on how you prioritize family and work. Because there's so many of us today who sometimes can have a hard time balancing the two, and sometimes we can work more than we spend quality time with our family, and it can affect us in a major way. So I wanted to talk about some things that helps when it comes to balancing, and everyone on a daily try to work on balancing things. So even though we know and we understand we need work to be able to provide for our families and provide income so that we can take care of the bills and other things, and if we have kids, um, one of the things that I wanted to talk about is prioritizing your time. That's the first tip in regards to balancing work and family life. You want to make sure that you are you have a schedule of things you want to do with the family, things you that's important to do at work. But if it's some things that you like, maybe like that's gonna take you away from what you have scheduled with your family or work, you wanna sometimes it's okay to kind of turn down some things if that means you'll be able to even the time out you set aside for you and your family, and then what you did need to do for work. Because sometimes it's like you will have a family activity plan, then you will have some work time set aside too, and then out of nowhere maybe a friend or another family member may want to say, "Oh, I had these tickets to this concert," or "I had something that I would like you to come to." And not that if it's nothing you have scheduled that day, you already spent time with your family, you did your work, and maybe you had some extra time and you wanted to do something separate on your own. That's nothing wrong with that. But if you specifically carved out that time to be with your family and have a set schedule, you should do your best to stick to that schedule. And sometimes that does mean turning down and not taking on so much, because one person can't take on everything. Something's gonna fail or not get done correctly if you try to take on everything. So it's always nice to iron out the most important things, like taking my daughter or my son there, or spending time as a family doing this activity, and then getting this done for work, that type of stuff. So you always want to put the more important things first. And it also mentions how changing your work mentality. Family and work are both important parts of your life. That means that they don't have to exist in their own separate bubble. But not only can you take lessons from your work back home to your family and vice versa, but you can also be sure to talk about family at work. So your family can be your encouragement for work, because it's hard to work, especially nowadays with so much you have going on around you, because it's not just work, it's the chaos you have to deal with, or some people who don't want to do their job and all that type of stuff. So your family can be your encouragement. Like, even if you look at it like, oh, I'm doing this for them, and soon I only have a few hours left in the day, and then I can get home to my family. So that can actually be uplifting and positive to you to help you keep going, especially those hard days at work when you just don't feel like being there. Because we all been there, we all had that time. And also, It may be hard to because the scenarios can be different for a family house. It could be where it's a whole family house where it's a husband, wife, and kids, so they have someone to share the responsibilities with. But then we also have single parents, whether single father, single mother. So it could be even more challenging to try to separate, not separate, but try to give as much time with your child or kids as much as also making sure the household is taken care of. And sometimes it can be even harder for a single parent because they don't have that second person to kind of help ease it. So it can definitely be a struggle, but it is still a possible thing if you prioritize and try your best to organize things in a way. And also not be afraid to ask for help if you're able to get help in some way to help balance things and you have somebody you trust that can help you with something sometimes. Because I've seen many parents, even like some on TV, where they say they don't like to ask for help, which I do understand, like from strangers and stuff, because you don't know sometimes what people's intentions are. But if you have someone you know and trusted enough, you should try to get help in some way with, or that'll help you alleviate if you are able to. And also, they mentioned in the article social bias. So, bringing up is always going to be people who tend to make you feel bad, even if you're doing the best you possibly can as a parent and as a wife, or at work, or as just a parent in work. It's going to always be people have something negative to say, but you have to know that you're doing the best you can, and you can't let the out thinking of others dictate that you need to do this or you need to do that, because sometimes people just like to be negative, and it can be people close to you that just like to be negative, but you don't want to take that as true. And raising kids is a hard job, but it is the most rewarding job. Because you also learn a lot when you are dealing with your kids and being a parent. It's a lot of lessons learned on a daily basis. You never stop learning. And I know sometimes I see people where they be like, oh, well, me working long hours all the time, eventually my daughter and child will understand that I did this for them, which I do understand that, but at the same time, you don't necessarily want work to take over the time that you spend with your kids or with your family. You don't want it to be so much of a priority that is completely pushing aside everything else that's important. And I always say the saying, it's not about the quantity, it's the quality. So the time you do have with your family, you want to really make it count. You want to really be present when you're there with your family, and you want to really participate and involve yourself when you do have that quality time, and really enjoy yourself with your family and just take advantage of as much time you have with them, and not to be on your phone or checking work emails while you're with your family. Really just take that time to be with them when you have time set aside for that. Let me see. And also, when you make decisions about work, sometimes a person or a job can easily say like, "Oh, can you work this overtime? Cause such and such ain't got nobody and all that." And you definitely If you need some extra time here and there, that's fine. But if you had a set, like I said in the beginning, if you had a set time, you know you were supposed to work, and that was the time you did, and then the other time you had scheduled to be with your kids or with your family. That's another example of where you may have to say no. Like, I'm not staying over my time. I'm gonna go home. And if the person gets upset, they get upset because it's like a job would work you to death if you allow them to, but you definitely want to try your best to keep that balance. And like I said, continue to put the most important things first in life. And it's important too to take time to rest and get some sleep, because sleep is essential to everyday things getting done properly. So you want to make sure you're getting enough rest. You don't never want to work yourself to the point where it's interfering with your sleep or causing you not to get enough sleep. And also, what keeps you going too is having a spiritual relationship that can definitely help also with balancing and helping you see things from a different perspective other than of your own thinking, because just going through it alone is not enough, and you just need all the help you can get through in this world. And so that was my thoughts today on prioritizing with family and career, because like I said, you don't have to make a choice to choose which one, because like I said, you need both of them have benefits for you to help you keep going and to help you to survive in life. So you want to organize and prioritize as best as you can, and you want to make sure you continue to give both of them the quality and importance that it needs, but never overdo work to the point where you're jeopardizing your family as a whole. And that's the most important. And you guys remember to like, share, subscribe. Again, I hope everyone's staying safe out there. And I hope to see you guys next video.